Shree Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Sinduraruna Vigraham Trinayanam Manikyamaulispurat Taranayaka Shekharam Smitamukhim Apinamakshurham Panibhyam Alipurna Ratna Chashakam Raktotpalam Bibhratim Saumyam Ratna Ghadastha Rakta Charanam Dhyayet Param Ambika. Welcome to all for this session on Lalitopakhyanam. In the previous few chapters, we have seen how all the devatas were trying to unite Shiva with Parvati so that through the union of Shiva and Shakti, Kumara is expected to be born, and it is only Kumara who can slay or who can kill that uh, who is capable of killing that Tarakasura. So, union of Shiva and Parvati was a necessary. So, in order to ensure this, Narada has already advised Himavanta to put Parvati in the personal service of Shiva at the Sthanvashrama. And now, in order to make Shiva to lift up his face and look at Parvati, Kandarpa or the Kama came there and he threw his arrow of love towards the Shiva's heart, and that created a love in the heart of Shiva, and that was aimed towards Parvati. However, at the same time, suddenly Shiva got angry at what Madana or the Kama has done, and he burned him down to ashes. In the meantime, Himavanta came and consoled his daughter Parvati and took her back to his home, while Rati Devi, wife of Kandarpa or wife of Kama, started crying for the death of her husband, who is now burned down to ashes. Meanwhile, Vasanta, who is a friend of Kama, he was the lord of spring season. He was consoling Rati Devi and he was reminding her about a Brahma's curse on Kandarpa. Now, on hearing this, Agastya asked Hayagreva, O Mahatma, Hayanana, why did Brahma have to curse Kandarpa? What was the curse? And what the final expiation from that curse? Kindly enlighten me, O Lord. Then Hayagreva replied to him, O chief of Munis, it happened during the Brahmakalpa in the Chakshusha Manvantara. There were two terrible Danavas by name Sunda and Upasunda. The two brothers loved each other and cooperated in all things without the least disagreement. Neither of them could bear to displease the other, and they were both strong and mighty in valor. The two of them performed austere tapas and obtained boons from Brahma. Filled with unsubduable pride and haughtiness over the prowess obtained as a result of the boons, they went forth and conquered the three worlds. They obstructed the yagas and all religious functions and ceremonies. They spoiled and disturbed the tapas of rishis and munis. They dethroned Indra and his Dikpalakas and usurped all their several powers. They entered the homes of the Devas and Devatas of Swargaloka and took captive of all the women folk, uprooted the kalpa trees and inflicted suffering on the suras. The Devas therefore betook themselves to Brahmaloka to seek relief. As they approached Satyaloka, they heard the vibrant intonation of the Vedas from all directions. They saw seated on white swans Savitri, Gayatri, and Saraswati in attendance on Brahma, who was also surrounded by the personified Vedas and the 7 crore Mahamantra Devatas. Beyond them were Munis armed with Kamandalu and Danda in Samadhi Yoga. Entering the inner court of Satyaloka, the Devas beheld the great lotus seat of Brahma consisting of 1,000 petals. On the full blown lotus, glowing in the radiance of Bhaskara, sat Brahma with four smiling faces representing the essence of the four Vedas. Around him were yogis singing his praises in worship. On one side was the great white swan, the Vahana of Brahma himself. Approaching Brahma, the Devas prostrated before him, sang his praises in worship. They then spoke to him thus regarding their woes. O Lord, is it fair for you to sit here yourself quiet while Sunda and Upasunda are torturing us in all manner of ways? They have now destroyed Dharma from all the three worlds, and Adharma holds the sway all over. Unless the two Danava brothers are destroyed, there will be no peace anywhere. Therefore, have mercy on us and save us from these two Danavas. Brahma replied to them, O Devatas, know I not how the Danava brothers are torturing the three worlds as a result of boon they have received from me. I fully realize your difficulties, and I shall certainly destroy them for all their ill deeds. There is but one way only, which you will understand if you know that boon they have secured from me. Desiring invincible powers, these two brothers performed austere tapas for many years. Pleased with their perseverance, I appeared before them, humbly prostrating themselves before me. They said, O yourself, lotus throned Lord, grant that both of us may be invincible. Nothing in the three worlds should have any power over us except the one over the other. That means only Sunda and Upasunda they can have power over the others and not anybody else. Well pleased at their belief in each other's love and trust, I gave them the boon, and up to now there has been no difference of opinion between the two brothers, nor anyone in the three worlds can harm them, neither Vishnu nor Rudra. So the only way that they can be eliminated is by developing a difference of opinion between those two brothers, because only those two have a power over each other and nobody else can override upon them. Only ruse is to bring about differences between the brothers, leading to their own destruction at the hand of each other. To this end, I shall create a damsel who shall be the sum total or parade of all the various aspects of beauty. Attracted by her great charm, each of the brothers shall have his passion roused to such a pitch that great repulsion shall manifest between the two, developing into a devouring wrath sufficient to destroy each other with their own hands. So saying, Brahma meditated for an instant and created the most delicately beautiful damsel ever and named her Thilothama, second only to Mohini, with compelling eyes and lips, with full bosom and narrow waist and bulging hips and graceful limbs. The Devas and all assembled were could not take their eyes off her. Even Brahma stared at her in deep admiration and appreciation of his own creation. She was real beauty parade, containing in every curve of her body, expression, and movement the very quintessence of the pretty and graceful substances of the three worlds. Kamadeva, who was also there, exulted in the exquisite figure before his eyes and looked around to see whom he could subdue with his bow and arrows. The latter were always capable of creating passion even where ugliness is dominated, for they were capable of making adharma appear as dharma and ugliness as the very embodiment of beauty by blinding the vision and reason and rousing passion. Madana mused that with a beautiful Thilothama as an ally to his weapons, he could make anyone fall for her, not stopping to think whether she was a sister or a daughter. Looking around, he knew that it was child's play to influence anyone and everyone present there, perhaps excluding Brahma alone, for he had himself created her and she was therefore his daughter. So, since Brahma has created Tilottama, essentially Tilottama is considered as his daughter. But that exception itself was a temptation for him to try his skill for the Kama in order to seduce Brahma towards Tilottama. He recollected how he had once before made Brahma fall in love with Bharati, his own creation. Unwilling to lose his golden opportunity by delay, he released an arrow, aiming it at Brahma's heart while he was still admiring his own creation with great pleasure. The touch of Kandarpa's arrow, Brahma's heart gave a leap, and a desire to possess Tilottama possessed him. Losing discretion and all sense of proportion, his look for admiration and filial affection changed into one of passion and lust, which grew in intensity from moment to moment. Thilottama perceived this sudden change and sensing disaster, she changed herself into a deer and capered away at full speed. Blinded by passion and unwilling to lose her, Brahma also changed himself into a male deer and pursued her, matching his speed to hers. Immediately, however, Rudra became alerted and he went after Brahma in the guise of a hunter armed with a pinaka, means the bow. Rudra's spouse Jagadamba also accompanied him in the guise of a huntress. The Vedas too followed the couple, assuming the shape of dogs. This is a narrative of what took place during the Chakshusha Manvantara of Mahabrahmakalpa. As Rudra was at the point of aiming an arrow at Brahma, the latter perceived the danger he was in and, recovering instantly from the effects of Kandarpa's arrow, fell at Rudra's feet seeking his pardon. As Rudra's arrow had already been poised and must be released on something or someone, Brahma now begged of him to aim his infallible arrow at Tripura. He pleaded that he had been blinded by Kandarpa's arrows. He felt miserable and was filled with remorse. Since Brahma, thus penitent and realizing the played by Vishnu's son Kandarpa, Lord Shiva allowed Brahma to depart in peace after expostulating with him on the relative merits of Dharma and Adharma. Feeling safe now, Tilottama regained her former form and approached her creator. Worshipping him reverently and in great humility, she said, "Order me, O Lord, that I may now carry out the mission for which I had been created by you." Brahma then blessed her and gave her instructions as to how to bring about the destruction of the two Danavas, Sunda and Upasunda. Thilothama immediately betook herself to the outskirts of the pleasure garden of the two Danava brothers. He created for herself a most charming swing of gold bedecked with flowers.
and swinging on it, she began to sing most enchantingly, displaying all the magical charms of music to lure the brothers to her. Gently strumming her veena, she sang so sweetly, and the very air, the leaves, and the flowers thrilled with pleasure and brought joy and desire to the heart of even beasts and birds. Hearing this strange music, the guardians of the pleasure garden ran up to their masters and reported the matter, whereupon they embraced each other in a bond of loyalty and proceeded towards their garden. As they approached it, however, the enchanting music played havoc on their heartstrings, making them self centered and forgetful of each other. They both quickened their paces as though drawn by an invincible magnet. As they simultaneously beheld the enthralling beauty of the singer Thilothama, both of them fell in love with her, and each desired to make her his own. So dazzled and encouraged by her inviting smile, and fragrant form, each of the brothers ran up to her to win her hand and keep the prize for himself. Kamadeva was not idle. For no sooner that the brothers came up close to Tilottama than he let fly his arrows on both of them simultaneously, and each was instantly blinded with passion and lust. On perceiving his younger brother rushing towards her with devouring eyes, Sunda shouted, "O brother Upasunda, look not upon her face, she shall be my queen. An elder brother is like unto a father, and his wife is like a mother for you. I therefore bid you not to look upon her with such lustful eyes. Take your sinful eyes off her instantly." Upasunda immediately countered, "O my brother, I looked upon her first, and so she shall be my wife. It is not fair for you to claim her as your own, since as elder brother you are like unto my father, and my wife can only be your daughter-in-law. So look not on her with your lustful eyes." So, like this, the two brothers started arguing with each other. Thus, with each argument, the wordy battle very soon developed into a wrestling bout, and then, using their war clubs, they destroyed each other. After thus accomplishing her task successfully, Tilottama returned to Lord Brahma and informed him of her successful mission. Well pleased, Brahma blessed her and made her one of the leading apsaras in Swargaloka. After Tilottama had been installed as an apsara of Swargdevaloka, Brahma began to feel greatly distressed and humbled at the thought that he had so easily fallen a prey to Kandarpa's arrows. His sorrow soon turned into wrath against Madana for his audacity in thus causing many a great sage to err against Dharma, pondering on the most effective means of punishing Manobhava. Lord Brahma decided that Lord Shiva alone could withstand Manobhava's willy arrows and be able to destroy him in the fire of his third eye. Determining thus in his heart, Brahma sent out a thought form beckoning Kandarpa to appear before him, and lo, Manmada was there standing guiltily. Glaring at him in anger, Brahma cursed him thus: "Oho, Duratman! Blinded by your own prowess and taking mean advantage of a delicate situation, you dare to use your arrow against me? and made me err against Dharma. Soon you shall try a similar trick on Maheshwara and be burned to ashes. As a result, the wrathful flame from the third eye of Rudra shall destroy your body. Madana and Rati Devi trembled with fear and fell prostrate, weeping and begging for the release from the dire effects of the formidable curse. Brahma calmed down a little and said, "There is no escape for you from my curse. However, out of the ashes of your burnt body shall be born a mighty Asura by name Bhandasura, who shall become the chief of Danavas and torture the three worlds as never before and dry them up as leaves in autumn. Unable to bear his scourge, the Devatas and we Trimurtis will perform a mighty yajna for the appearance of Devi Lalita, who will rise from the Homa flames as Sarva Devata Swarupam. Devi Lalita will regenerate the worlds and destroy Bhandasura. After reducing Bhandasura's body to ashes, Devi Lalita will bring you back to life from fresh power over all the three worlds, and you will both be ever happy thereafter. With this assurance, Rati Devi and Madana prostrated again before Lord Brahma and departed in peace. Hayagriva, while concluding this part of the story, told, "Thus, O Kumbhasambhava, was the manner in which Manmada was cursed by Brahma, as there is no escape from a curse of any of the Trimurtis. Hari, Hara, Virinchi, Kandarpa was at last burned to ashes by Rudra opening his third eye in wrath. I have thus related to you now how and why Kandarpa met his fate. What more would you like to know from me? Thus, in this part of the story, we learnt about the background of why Kandarpa was reduced to ashes by Rudra while he opened the third eye. It all happened back in the Brahmakalpa of Chakshusha Manvantara. During that period, there were two demons, Sunda and Upasunda, who got a boon from Brahma, saying that nobody will be able to win over them, and the only people who can win over or who can rule over them is they themselves. Means Sunda can rule over Upasunda, Upasunda can rule over Sunda. Only those two, if they fight with each other, they can be defeated. However, the unflinching loyalty between the two brothers was making them almost invincible in the three world. Neither the Trimurtis nor any of the Devatas could able to win over them. And finally, in order to create a difference of opinion between Sunda and Upasunda, Brahma played a trick by creating a beautiful damsel named as Thilothama. And Thilothama was sent to the garden of Sunda and Upasunda, where both the brothers, when they saw her, they started quarreling with each other to win over her. And in the resulting battle, in the resulting duel, they both got killed. However, before this to happen, when Tilottama was created, she was so beautiful that almost every devata were falling to her beauty. However, only Brahma, who had created himself, so Tilottama is being considered as his daughter, he was sitting alone admiring his creation. Kama took this opportunity and threw his arrow towards Brahma in order to seduce him, and somehow that affected Brahma's heart, and he started looking at Tilottama, who is his own creation, with a lustful eye. Seeing the danger, Tilottama turned herself into a deer and started running. Even Brahma took the shape of a male deer and started running behind her. Meanwhile, Rudra and Parvati, they both came in the form of hunter and the huntress, and they stopped Brahma from doing such an adharma. and Brahma felt ashamed for what he was doing. And then, as a result of that, he cursed Manmata, saying that one day you will going to be burned by Rudra when he open his third eye, and you will be burned down to ashes. When both Manmata and Rati were crying, falling at his feet, then he finally told them that from the ashes of Kama or Manmatha, they will someone will going to create an asura known as Bandasura, and in order to kill Bandasura, all the devatas will perform a great yajna from which the mother Lalita, Devi Lalita, will going to appear, and she will going to burn Mandasura to ashes, and from that ashes she will recreate you and will repower you. Namaste Sharada Devi, Kashmir Puravasini, Swamaham Prarthaye Nityam, Vidya Danancha Dehime. Goodbye.